There we go.
I didn't realize you were going to be able to see our feet, so now I'm kind of embarrassed about where it's off.
Well, you're good. You're not like fully barefoot. You're not giving your feet out to the public for free, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Subscribe to OnlyFans.
Display case OnlyFans.
You guys got that secret, like, super exclusive, like, Patreon where it has all that stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Feet only.
We're actually more known for our feet than our music.
Or our free mailing list.
We'll do the crack together, and then I'll kind of do the little intro, and then I'll bring you guys in.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah.
Tell us when.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week I got another Iowa band on. You know, I'm from Iowa. Gotta rep all the Iowa bands that are doing great things right now. So I'm sitting down with the dudes in Display Case. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm good.
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for being on. Like I mentioned, you guys are Display Case from Des Moines, Iowa. You guys are kind of like a hard rock. There's something in there that I can't pinpoint yet, but like a hard rock, kind of a little bit of punk in there. Band, like I mentioned, from Des Moines. I mean, you guys got some cool stuff going on. I'm stoked to talk about everything that's going on. But before we get too far, can you go down the couch and kind of say who you are and what you do in Display Case?
My name's Jordan, and I do lead vocals.
Mine's Joey, and I play drums.
Mine's Carter. I play guitar and sing a little bit.
I'm Dylan, and I play bass.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously you guys have been established for quite a long time, so I don't want to do the typical how do you guys get started, do all that stuff. So we're just going to kind of jump right to more present day. So about last year, I think it said November, you guys released your latest EP called Better Yet. And I mean, it's a solid four-track EP. If anyone's checked it out, go check it out. They also have a few LPs that we'll probably touch on in a little bit that are out as well. But in June of this year, you guys released your latest single, which is kind of leading up to what's in the works and what's coming next. Called Secret Trouble. I mean, it's been out at this point of recording like a month, and like today's the 14th, like month and like 12 days. What's the response been on this, as it's the first thing you guys have put out since November?
I think it's been pretty good. It was kind of a fun one to show people, like a new fun one to show people drum wise, because I do some stuff I've never done on a recording before. So I think people are interested in that, I hope.
Yeah, and it was fun. I mean, so Better Yet was our first EP with this 4-piece Display Case. So,
Okay.
You know, I feel like especially I kind of came in around after they had already written some of the music. So I feel like Secret Trouble was kind of our first single that we like really all four of us had complete input and really got to write everything from top to bottom together. So yeah, it's kind of a great reception, and really it's been awesome to see people talking about it, but really it's just even been fun to put it out there finally. And yeah,
it's one of my favorite songs to play live. It's like a departure, but familiar to the band. I don't know. It's got a different vibe, but it's got the same vibe.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
The music,
I'd feel that.
Good time too. So we had a pretty good time doing the music video. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of like it focuses around like a superhero type character, but like the lamest superhero there is. So it's like a day in the life of a not so successful Avenger video.
Fun fact: when we were recording, Carter almost totaled his car because it was a really bad blizzard in Des Moines, and we were we're at Valley West Mall. I don't know how you did that, but you almost ran over a boulder and got hit by a boulder.
Oh my God.
We all got hit by a bullet.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere.
The continuity in the video is a little off too, because we filmed the day we filmed all of it. It snowed. It snowed like 9 inches in 4 hours. So
God.
like, are they doing this?
So slow.
Are they filming this in June or are they filming it? So it was a lot of it was a good time. So
Well, props to you guys for being, true Midwesterners and going out there and still recording a music video during all that. Obviously, most people would have been like, "Oh, it just snowed that much." Yeah, we'll push it off another day. Fuck this. So props for that.
That's what I wanted to do, but there was no time.
Okay, fair enough. But kind of bouncing off what you said, where it's kind of like this new sound, but it's still familiar. You can definitely pick that up. I jammed a lot of Better Now, and then going into this, just kind of get the feel of the transition, and it does feel still at its core display case, but at the same time, you do notice the subtle difference of like, oh, this is like it's still display case, but it's a new, different display case. Which is, I mean, it's always great to see that. Like I've always said, every release, whether it's a single EP or LP, is always just a timestamp in that band's life. And obviously, you guys coming together to be this new lineup of display case, it really shows. And I'm kind of stoked to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, we've gotten like really adventurous with Better Yet. We kind of we're completely DIY. I mean, Carter pretty much records everything for us, and then we all work. I mean, he does most of the mixing and mastering, but we'll sit around and kind of give him dumb ideas, and he tries to understand what we're saying. The Secret Trouble, we've gotten a lot more adventurous of not being afraid to play with new sounds, especially in the mixing area of it, and not being afraid to add things beyond the 4 instruments. Just mess around, and I think it's just continued to increase our creativity, and even in the writing process for the new songs, it's been like, oh, when we record this, we should add this, or we should do this now. So it was a lot of fun.
What's like the craziest thing you guys have come up with to like add in the recording process that obviously adds to the elements of just the 4 guys playing?
On the what was that EP called?
New to Me.
On the EP New to Me, there's a song called Simmer Settle, and there's clapping, and it's the clapping is me and Jordan slapping our asses, our own asses.
They're actually in a club slapping.
Nothing really funny is like all these people are going to hear our butts. So that's probably the craziest thing.
Well, the best explanation I had was if you don't like the song, then the joke's on you because you just listen to me slap my ass for 3 minutes. So
I think that's the craziest answer I've ever heard to get added into a song. I think I was talking to someone. I feel like they said like they put a glockenspiel, like an actual instrument, but slapping your own asses to work as the claps. That's pretty genius.
We should have slapped each other in retrospect, but what are you gonna do?
We're saving that for the next week.
Yeah. Obviously, Dylan, you mentioned like you guys are kind of already working on new stuff. What's on the horizon after this single?
We are going to be releasing an EP in October. We don't have an exact date yet. We have a release show booked for October 20th. It's at Minion Fest in Des Moines, UK. So it's around Halloween time, so that'll be fun. And that's with Hot Conch and State Park. State Park is on that too. So we got that EP coming out, and the next single we think will be out in September-ish, maybe August, not.
We just finished with 3 days ago.
Yeah, right before we joined the call, we were listening to it to make some edits and stuff like that. But it's a banger too. So I'm really excited for people to hear that one. But yeah, we'll release that EP, and then we usually take it a little slow in the winter time, and then come spring we'll just play as many shows as possible and keep writing. I feel like we always kind of write. I mean, sometimes we write more heavy than others, but it's kind of the good flow that we figured out.
Something usually always comes out of like the winter months.
Yeah,
because that's kind of how Secret Trouble was where we just have one that we kind of focused on and worked on. And then after that one comes out, then we have 4 more that we kind of write, record and release into like the fall.
Yeah.
So
And we force ourselves to write and record in between shows.
Yeah.
So it makes us, maybe this is bad, maybe it's not, but we like force ourselves to work in this time period. We gotta get it done
yeah.
in this amount of time because we have a show we gotta practice for in 3 weeks. So we gotta work now and get it done. And I feel like it motivates us to work harder and get some cool stuff out of it.
Especially Jordan. He only works well under pressure.
Yeah.
So I know what his problem is.
It's really annoying. The song that the next single, that's probably gonna be the next single.
Yeah.
The single that we just recorded a couple days ago, I just finished up. I had like, I don't know, a few pages of notes and of things that I could use for the song, and literally 45 minutes before I went to Carter's place to record the vocals, I was in the shower and I jumped out. I had something just like hit me. I jumped out of the shower and wrote down a bunch of stuff for the song, and then everything else I'd written before got scrapped. And yeah, I was like, wow, it's really good. It's really good, and I like what came out of it. But man, it is annoying. It annoys me. It's really annoying.
I mean, yeah, I can see how it would be annoying, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I don't feel like I hear from a lot of bands. I know some bands that, you know, really kind of, as much as being in a band is like fun and kind of an outlet, you do have to have those moments where you kind of have to treat it like work, and it's like, hey, we have to, you know, get these things kind of workshopped and get it going before like our next thing. And it's kind of nice that you guys kind of stick yourselves into that routine. But I totally understand how much it sucks, because like I try and stick myself into like a work mentality when doing this podcast, and I'm like, man, fuck it, I'll do it next week. And then next week just becomes like, oh shit, everything's due next week, like I got to get shit done. So I totally am on your side with that.
Yeah.
Like I forced myself last night. We had band practice yesterday, and these guys were like, "Carter, send me the mix, send the mix, send the mix." And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll probably work on it tomorrow, maybe this weekend. And then I stayed up till 10 o'clock, forcing myself to keep going, and then send it out last night
After a rehearsal.
after rehearsal.
Well, it also works too, because we're all friends. Like, this is our friend group.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of bands, like everybody kind of has their own, they kind of part ways, I feel like, when it comes to the, you know, personal lives. But like Joey, me and Joey and Dylan have known each other for 15 years. And we're the only people that we talk to. It's kind of hard to like not talk about music, and you know, so
Yeah.
it seems to work out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's also nice too, because like, if you want someone to, if someone's gonna call you on your shit, you'd rather have someone that you're actually like friends with call you on your shit, rather than like someone where you just have like a kind of half-ass relationship with trying to call you on it, where you're just like, man, fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for
we
sure.
tell each other to fuck off all the time. You gotta have somebody that can tell you when you suck. That's
Right.
Yeah.
in life and in music.
It's happened. We've had that conversation for both many times.
well, that's awesome that, I mean, there's like a new EP coming. Do you have, I know I've kind of like went back through you guys' discography. You've kind of done like, you know, the typical like EP full length. Is there any thoughts to doing like another full length sometime after down the road?
I don't think so. I just think no one will care enough to listen to a full length display case CD, but EP singles, I think all day for forever.
Yeah.
You know.
It's more efficient to you know, be able to bang out 4 songs in a year, and kind of taking like the quality versus quantity approach to it. So ever since we started doing the EP thing, it seems like each song, like we all like every song
Yeah.
that we write. Whereas when we were doing the full length things, I mean, I don't even think we play anything off of any of the full length. Maybe 1 or 2 songs off of the full lengths.
Probably not for long though.
Yeah.
The EPs. I think the EPs are kind of more fun because it's like just a year ago we released one, and now we're about to release one 11 months later. And if we're doing a full length, they probably want to be out for like another year because we worked too slow on it or something,
Yeah.
you know?
And it just wouldn't be as, I feel like not each song would get enough the attention that it deserves.
I also think it's cool, like keeping our creative process and like where we were at that time in a bubble almost, because you can kind of capture that time frame. Essentially, each EP is like the previous year, you know, and even now that this new EP is kind of coming together and hearing where like, you know, we're all at musically and lyrically, you know, and then going back and listening to Better Yet, it's like, oh, we were totally different people and doing totally different things at that time. So it's kind of cool just from like perspective as well of being able to have these kind of like mini time capsules of where we were all at the time of that EP.
It's a yearbook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, like putting a yearbook just on the shelf. Like there's 2023, call it good for that one. No, but I mean that's a good way to do it too. Like I totally understand what you're saying where if you were to do a full LP, like not every song would kind of get its due justice or due diligence. Because I've also been in that position where, you know, I started an LP and I'm like, okay, and then by like song 6, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of checked out at this run. Maybe I'll come back and check out these other songs and do whatever. But having a quick, you know, 4-song banger EP, like you're definitely going to make it through that whole thing and enjoy it. And then part of you is going to be like, oh, that wasn't that long. I'll listen to it again. And then you kind of just get in that mentality.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's kind of cool because a lot of our songs are the culmination of maybe 2 or 3 other songs that we had ideas for.
Yeah.
And so it keeps it fresh, and like you don't really pigeonhole yourself into sounding a certain way all the time.
Mhm.
So it keeps it fresh for people listening and for us playing it, because I mean nobody wants to play the same thing over and over again, let alone listen to it. So
yeah, that's true. I know you guys are, like we mentioned earlier, and I think multiple times at this point, you guys are from Des Moines. I mean, you guys have been around for quite a while. I have never, you know, driven to Des Moines to see a display case show, but like, I know you guys play a good amount of shows throughout the year. Like, what's a display case? I know you're shaking your head in disapproval. What's a display case show like for people that are maybe now just checking you out and need to get out to Des Moines to see you guys?
I think it's like a giant party.
And it's really sweaty.
Yeah. Very sweaty. Bring some compression shorts.
yeah. We just try to get as many people moving as possible. I mean, there's been multiple times where like we have so much energy playing the songs that I wouldn't say screw them up, but like okay, maybe we screw them up a couple of times. I mean, it's just the atmosphere where like everybody's having a ton of fun and
in the moment.
Yeah. And a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
They're big drinkers out there, so
It's weird. Yeah.
We do keep the bar. We've gotten compliments on alcohol sales.
Yes,
before.
we've had tell us that like our alcohol sales pull in as much as like the national.
Oh man. Well, you know, Iowans love to drink. I know all the stories of like anytime that like Iowa State would make it to like a bowl game down in Kansas City, like they would basically drink out Kansas City of all their Busch Light. It's insane.
Iowa did that with
I think Indiana, didn't they?
Was it Indiana?
Yeah, Indianapolis, I think. Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Right. Yeah, they couldn't ship it in fast enough.
Yeah, it's insane. So anyone that wonders why I, you know, look the way I do half the time, like that's why I record up. You don't see the beer gut from all these episodes in Time and Music. But one thing I kind of wanted to touch on is so like I said, you guys have been around for quite a while. Obviously, what's out on, you know, Bandcamp and Spotify and everything, the earliest is 2015, but there's actually stuff that's out there, you know, a little bit prior to that. So back in 2013, 2014, Me and a buddy, you may or may not know him. His name is Thomas Allen. He was lead guitar for the band Exit Emergency. Me and him are really good friends. We went to high school together, but we started a. This is kind of lore for people that don't know this either. We started like us. We try to like book shows in Iowa, and we started like this whole like kind of trying to get a community going with all the Iowa bands to get recognized a little bit more. We called ourselves Iowa Alliance Productions, and one year we decided to do a comp CD between Iowa Alliance Productions and our friends down in Missouri, trying to get some more notice for all these smaller bands. And Display Case was actually part of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah. It sounds familiar. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, because it's funny.
What song was it? I remember
it was Sleep When You Were Dead.
Yeah.
We still play that.
Yeah, that's one of the ones from the LPs that we still play. Our first LP is not like available anywhere hardly.
Which actually that means Sleep When We're Dead is like not on streaming at all, and people ask about that all the time.
Like they request to be recorded like every show. They're like, "That's gonna be recorded. I'll pay you money."
Yeah.
So
Never mind the other 10 songs that we just.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing you want to listen to the one that you literally can't.
Awesome.
Well, it is up on one platform still. So I had to do some digging because I lost the website as well. The Iowa Alliance Bandcamp is still up, and it still has the song on there. I'm not gonna. I could put the link in the description. I haven't decided yet. Any big Display Case fans, I've said a lot of names in this. You just got to do your Google search and you'll find it.
that's so I like how we had no idea that was available. That's awesome though. Thank you for saying that. Honestly.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, no, that's why when you guys like hit me up to do this, I was kind of like, oh, this is like a full like full circle moment of touching base with you guys back in 2013 and now doing this in 2023.
That kicks so much ass. That's so cool. Love it.
Yeah. I know also when I was kind of perusing Instagram and stuff like that, you guys are working on doing some out-of-state shows coming up.
Yeah, we were playing in St. Joseph's, Missouri next 2 weekends. 2 weekends from now.
July 29th.
July 29th.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to play in Kansas City, but that show got dropped, so we've been reaching out. We've kind of had a hard time booking this year, but yeah, we're that St. Joe's one is a lock for now, hopefully.
Yeah, we've kind of had to adjust. Last year we got to play out of town quite a bit, and last year was kind of our first year really getting back from COVID. So it was really easy to book shows because everybody was trying to book, and this year I think we've just had to adjust to like now everybody's doing it again. Before we could book stuff out, like a month or a month and a half ahead of time, and now it's like, oh, we got to be doing this like 2-3 months ahead out for like a good weekend slot. We've talked a lot about like, oh man, we got to start doing things earlier now.
Really, yeah, we're always like next spring, like we should start working on the spring shows maybe in November or December. like we're gonna have to.
I mean, yeah, that was a thing that everyone was kind of worried about, or kind of I think somewhat saw coming, where it was like, okay, once everything fully opens back up, everyone's going to be trying to get out, do stuff. They're all going to have new stuff to promote, wanting to get on the road. Like, let's see how this goes. I know there was a lot of talk about trying to do as many like mixed bill shows as possible when everything came back, but I feel like I only saw a few of those, and then all the hardcore kids were like, no, fuck that. We're still going to do our shit. But that's a whole different story that we won't get into. But yeah, no, that's hopefully like you guys are still, I mean, it's a bummer that Kansas City didn't work out, but it'd be great to like, hopefully everything's working out to try and get future shows booked and keep that momentum going.
Yeah, we're always working on something.
That's the plan.
It's mainly the last few years, a lot of our old contacts went out of business or shut their doors or stopped doing it. So it's just finding the new stuff, the new places to play that are out there, which we found a few of them, and just got to keep you just got to keep looking for the new stuff, I guess. So
yeah, I remember it's kind of crazy to think too, back like in like the 2010 to like 2014, there was like that one DIY site that you could just find everyone's information. Like somehow, I don't know if you guys remember this at all. There was like a website where like you could list this, you could pick a state and it would basically like list a bunch of like DIY promoters.
We were on that like a couple
Yeah.
Indie on the Go.
Indie
There was
on
one
the
of
Go.
them.
Indie on the Move,
Indie on the
something
Move.
like
That
that.
was one of them. We put like a national tour off of that.
Yeah, we did.
So you should make that site again.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Because like now I feel like it's just more of a matter of like connecting with people over social media. Like there's the whole DIY Twitter, which I feel like kind of took off. Granted, now Twitter is like on this whole thing. Follow me on Threads if you haven't done that. But you know, I feel like booking now is kind of, granted I've been so far out of the game of doing any of this. Like I feel like it should be easier, but it's also just like somewhat difficult at the same time, if that makes any sense. Obviously you guys are obviously having to like find new contacts, so you're running into some of that, but other than that, like, is it decently easier now compared to like 10 years ago, would you say?
I think it's harder. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just. It might just be because we've done it for so long, so my head just goes back to like, oh, this contact in this city quit. But it's harder for us, I think. But I feel like we're about to turn the curve on that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's different in like I mean just like a perspective way, you know. I think back when we were like in high school and shit and just getting started off, you know, the contacts we made were from like playing shows with people. You know, you talk to people and, oh, I know this guy, add him on Facebook and he'll hook you up with a show here, you know, tell him I sent you. And especially since we're like a little bit older and don't play as much as we used. I mean, we used to play like 4 times a week.
Yeah,
you know,
we
so
be nice to nobody.
yeah, exactly. So now it's, you know, like instead of meeting people at like this shitty venue, you know, we're having to reach out on social media and be like, hey, I'm this dude from this band. Like, I love what you guys are doing. We should do something together sometime. And it's definitely weird. And but you know, we made some really cool contacts and just connected with people in different states in a new way, which has been really fun.
It's hard because I always, whenever I message just people like Dylan saying, I always feel like the guy from high school trying to sell like insurance.
We're a pyramid scheme.
Like I'll screenshot it. Yeah, I know. Now I always screenshot something. It'll be like a 3-sentence message. I'll like screenshot it, send it to the band. Like, does this look good? No, it's like, yeah. That's good. And then I don't know. Sometimes we hear back. Sometimes we don't.
Well, that and also like with so much more. I'm trying not to sound like an old man here, but
We're old.
so much more social media has come out since we were booking those national tours like 10 years ago. Because when we were doing that, it was email this place, email this place. This is my email. Here's my email. But now it's like, well, here's the booking email, but you know, Fred doesn't look at the email. He only looks at his Instagram.
Yeah.
But Fred actually, you know, he actually kicks that over to Adam, and he only looks at his Twitter. So it's like you have to message one person or one venue 5 different times just to get somebody to say something. So not
Say no.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would love it if somebody would at least just respond and be like, yeah, get out of here. It's like, all right, next.
Oh shit. Exactly.
Yeah, it's in those moments where you'd rather just hear a no than nothing else. Like silence is terrible, and like I will admit I've done that sometimes where like I think to like message someone back and I completely forget, so I apologize to everyone. But I also get like I send out, you know, like 15 emails a month or something, and I'll maybe get like 5 responses, if that. And I'm just like, cool. I'll just go sit in the corner and just figure this out. But yeah, that shit sucks.
Yeah, there was one of those tours. I literally sent over 700 emails to book a 25-day run, and I got maybe 15 emails back, like responses, and it was, I mean, it still worked out. Like everything worked, but I was like, man, that was a lot of
That's a lot.
It's a lot of work. But
Yeah. And now you just got to message 5 different social media platforms and see if you get one DM back.
Right.
Facebook, the Facebook groups are actually pretty helpful though.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Because like we also came from a point too where like the Defend Pop Punk group was actually not just a shit posting site. It was actually helpful, and now I'm still like I haven't removed myself from it, and I still get like I see some posts every once in a while, and it's a lot. It's not like how it used to be for people that are in it now.
It used to be a whole community. I don't think these guys were really in it, but I was like in the community. Like I remember that. Who was the clown guy? Bozo the Clown or some shit.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of lore that happened in the Fun Pop Punk group, but yeah, it's basically dead now. But yeah, it's you always got to keep moving. Is the thing that we've learned is the trend and where people are is always moving. Like we got a Threads account, and I mean, I feel like a boomer sometimes, but Carter keeps us young, thankfully, and help get posts on there. Yeah, just trying to keep up with where people are going to be at. So really not even to like stay relevant or anything, but just stay connected with people and see what's happening.
Oh yeah, I totally 100% get that. Because I feel like we're all pretty much around the same age, but I don't post a lot, and that's always been like I don't really post even on my personal stuff. And then doing this, I'm like, okay, I need to like stay relevant or stay in the game. Twitter's dying. Okay, where's everyone going? People mentioned Threads, so I made a Threads account. A bunch of people went to Discord, so I swapped my Discord over, and I'm like, oh, this is just people just chatting all day. Like I can't keep up with this shit. Like, what do I do? And then I'm just like, and then I just stopped giving a shit about a weekend.
Right.
Same.
Yeah.
I feel like Joey and I are kind of like that, where it's like you post when the show is, or you say, here's a song, listen to it. But like Dylan and Carter will go about like, no, you got to do this, you got to post funny picture, and you got to, it has to be this many words, and
we have to post on TikTok every day.
Yeah.
It's like I was trying to copy what Dylan does. Like if you go to Dylan's Instagram, like I don't know, he posts a lot more than me, but every like 4 weeks later I try to copy something like he does, and it gets like a quarter of the likes.
I post too much, but I just accept it. Like, hey, I'm only gonna get 2 likes, but I mean, a lot of like Instagram and Facebook, they want you to post more. I think especially Instagram, because we didn't really use Instagram for a while. It wasn't just something we cared that much about, but we've been trying to post more there. And I've honestly seen like the more you post, the more it gets into people's feeds and stuff. So yeah, it's weird, but I think it's been kind of fun because a lot of our social media used to be like Joey and Jordan said, was like, here's our shows, here's what we're doing, very kind of like on the surface, but I think we've gotten to like show our personality a little bit more and how kind of fucking dumb we are. It's like our group chat is kind of leaking into our social media and in a good way, but yeah, it's been kind of fun to just like show our personality a little more on the outside as opposed to just when people meet us or whatever.
Especially like TikTok. I feel like we really show like our real personalities in the TikToks that we do, because most of the time, every once in a while they'll hit.
Yeah.
But we get maybe like 500-600 views on them, and it's just some stupid idea that one of us came up with. And I thought it would be funny. But
we had a pretty popular trend on or I don't know what they're called, like a thing that we were doing on TikTok, tiny amp.
Yeah.
Or just has this little fucking amp, and I was like, dude, you should just like play a riff from like a popular song on that. And then like, I don't know how many we did, but it was like maybe 20.
we did like 20.
There was a couple that had over 100,000 views.
Yeah.
The Blink one good.
That one got like 100,000.
Oh yeah, Blink-182 scrubbed us from TikTok.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
And like if you have time, go check out our Blink-182. What song was it?
It's the edging.
Edging. Yeah, we did a tiny amp special for when edging was first released.
Mhm.
And it was funny because I mean this is total conspiracy, but so Blink had also love Blink. We love Blink, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, Tom.
Sorry, Tom. And but there was a contest that they had where if you use the edging sound, the song edging in your video, then they'll post it or blah blah, or you win something or whatever. So we posted that one, and it was the only ones you could see the most popular videos with that sound. The only ones more popular than ours were the ones actually put out by Blink-182 themselves. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days later, our video was nowhere to be seen on that.
Yeah.
Like it just got scrubbed.
Wow.
We were kind of poking.
It was the aliens.
Yeah, we were kind of
we were poking a little fun. We were just talking having some fun. Some guy in suits came to our door.
yeah. Parker showed up in a black Escalade and kicked my ass.
I was afraid I went to see him in St. Paul. I was afraid he was gonna like slash my tires.
Just points you out in the crowd. He's like, that was him. He's right there. Security.
Yeah, which one of you dipshits is in display?
And then Chloe's just like, oh my god, it's that guy from Display Case.
Oh man.
But no, that's awesome that you guys are like still doing that and like at least trying to adapt. I know I follow the Display Case Facebook account, so anytime that like something pops up of just like going through my feed, it'll be like, oh, Bowling for Soup posted this, and then I see a comment of like I see your guys' comment of like just replying back to like everything, and I'm like, man, those boys are putting in work.
Okay, 2 stories with that. One,
the MGK one.
Oh yeah, it kind of got us. So I stole that idea from I Set My Friends on Fire. They kind of were the band that I saw doing that and getting a lot of interaction from commenting on other people's pages. So I started doing it, and then I was like, I don't want to be like cheesy and just saying like nice things all the time. I started like talking shit about MGK and got us like we got a strike for bullying, I think.
Yeah. We got an email about it.
There was a girl. There was some girl.
There was a couple of people that were like messaging us, like threatening us.
Yeah.
I think they were not happy that I don't.
There was a girl that was basically the new version of the Leave Britney Alone person.
Yeah. She was full of us.
Yeah, she went like through all of our like last like 20 slides of laughing at her.
Oh yeah. She thought that she had this personal relationship with MGK and like I don't know. She's probably getting catfished by somebody named something as
Michael Kelly.
But yeah, she went after us.
Yeah,
I'm gonna dox you. Dox what? I graduated high school with a 1.2.
So I kind of learned that we don't want to poke too many bears anymore on Facebook. But my favorite thing that we've ever done was there's this fake gas station Facebook account. They're called Selena 52 Truck Stop. It's just hilarious. I follow them on my personal, but I was like, how funny would it be for like Display Case to interact with this truck stop? So like I started commenting being like, oh, we slept in your parking lot last night, and Jerry stole our air from our tires and like shit like that. Like, people like slowly started like interacting with us from that, and like people would even message us and be like, hey, I found you from Selena 52 and it's actually good. And then so kind of just kept it going, but like didn't overdo it. And then our one of our singles from Better Yet is Moving On, and the music video is just all green screen where we just put like dumb shit behind us. But one of the pictures is from the Selena 52 truck stop. They're Ukrainian. Ukrainian the lore is deep. I put it like Jordan and I playing at their Ukrainian gas.
We were hitchhiking.
Yeah. And so I messaged their page and I was like, was like, hey, you've probably seen this comment, but like I was wondering if you would post our video because we did it here, and they like went full out and were like, it's come to our understanding that this band is pretending to play at our gas station. We have no affiliation. And like,
They said our name display case is stolen from their display case.
and then it's like, it's hilarious because I mean, like the moving on video, when they posted it, I think it got almost like 500. The YouTube video got like 500 more views within a day, and people commenting like support Selena 52. And so,
Justice for Jerry.
yeah. So it's fucking hilarious because like somebody that doesn't know is gonna look at this comments and just be like, I don't know what's going on with these guys, but yeah, shout out Selena 52 check stop.
That's fucking awesome. They're gonna have to get a follow out of this, or everyone listening has to go check them out. But I mean, that's just, I don't have the, I can't even think about doing that stuff, and you guys are just doing it and just having a good time in general. Like, I mean, you guys are just having fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's made like it, like, you know, we kind of talked about like we're friends, like we hang out, we talk 24/7, probably too much, but you know, like I think it's kind of helped make the band feel that way too, you know, like I mean, we're just kind of cheesy, like shit posting dudes, and I think, you know, nowadays I think people appreciate that too, you know, and I like that in other bands. I like seeing them show their personality on social media. So yeah, it's fun. It doesn't feel quite as much like a chore or a job to do social media when you can make it fun.
Yeah.
True. And I was like you can tell when bands are friends, and I think that comes out in like every aspect of the band, and like Carter and I talked about before, and it's cool because like we would all be friends if we weren't in a band or we weren't musicians.
Yeah.
So I think that comes out in this, like especially with the shit posting like that. Like there's no way you could do that if you weren't friends.
Yeah.
Well, before we fully transition as we start to transition to the later half of this episode, I know we kind of talked about, you know, the new single, Secret Trouble, and a lot of stuff about Display Case. Is there anything we might have missed between Display Case, Secret Trouble, or anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's besides just all the stuff we've been doing, like working on recording new stuff and booking shows behind the scenes. That's pretty much what we have out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
nothing too crazy.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, go ahead.
We are the world's only hard rock band.
Yes,
that's important.
Yeah. It's on my koozie.
On the koozie.
Fuck yeah. And then I know you mentioned the album release show will technically be at Minion Fest. I know we kind of glanced over that. Where is Minion Fest happening at?
It's at XBK in Des Moines.
Okay, so everyone in Des Moines, make sure you head out to that and be ready for that EP coming out in October. I know I'll be reposting about all of it, but we'll kind of get to the links later in the episode. So before we fully transition to the later half of this episode, like I normally say, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes, but because I'll definitely do that for you. But what are you gentlemen drinking on this fine Friday night?
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
I pounded a couple of tons over here.
Hell yeah. Is Miller Lite like the Display Case beer of choice?
It's the beer that was in Joey's fridge.
Yeah.
It's the free one.
Yeah. But I feel like it's the lightest beer that tastes like beer. So I usually stock up on that.
Hell yeah. I mean, I started this episode. I still haven't replenished my PBR stock, so I started with a nice, decent Coors Light, and then kind of switched over to some Trulies. It's like 90 out today, so got to feel tropical somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
Totally.
Yeah. And then Dylan, what flavor of Capri Suns did you have?
So I think I started off with a Pacific Cooler, and then I transitioned over a strawberry kiwi.
All right.
He's lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok where someone cut a Capri Sun open. There was a dead mouse.
I didn't win the jackpot on that one.
Yeah, well, that's good and bad, I guess. Well, there's a little drink segment for this episode as we now finally get to the later half of this episode, which is always my favorite part of the episodes, and honestly the reason that these episodes even exist. This is where we kind of talk about some fun times from you guys' time of music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. The way I like to think about it is think about the stories that you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the best ones that I love to hear.
Oh man,
There's so many.
I'll start it off. So our first tour, I mean, we were 19 years old, and it was fun, but we were like drastically underprepared. So especially towards the second half of it, we toured through the month of July in a van with no air conditioning, and we didn't realize that none of us were old enough to even get hotels in most states.
6-week tour.
Yeah, 6-week tour, and so like by the end of it, like we were very malnutrition and like sleep deprived, heat exhausted, because it was just hot the whole. If it wasn't hot, it was like torrential downpouring. But I remember, I think it was maybe I shouldn't say the city, but we were supposed to play like this open mic night at this like bar, and they told us we could do it. They told like over email, everything was booked, and we show up, and like the owner comes out and is like, "There's no band playing here tonight. It's open mic night." And we're like, "Okay, well we're here. Like, can we play like 2 songs at the open mic night?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And we were like, "Okay, can we sell like our merch, because that's how we're like making money?" And he's like, "Fuck no! Why would I let you put your merch out? Then people are going to spend that and not buy booze." And we're just like so fucking pissed, and we were just done with it, like whatever. We're gonna get the fuck out of here. But we obviously we were like basically living in a van, so we had a couple piss jugs. And our guitar player at the time, just like they had this like outdoor bar area with like canopies, and right as we left, just threw a piss jug into their outdoor bar. And I remember laying it perfectly on a canopy, and just sort of like it like got stuck up there and just started pouring piss all over. And there's like people outside, and we just fucking sped off, and we probably were going like 25.
Yeah. We smashed all the plants. They had plants in the fucking front of the bar area. So smashed them all on the sidewalk.
Yeah, that was probably like our complete boiling point. But made us all happy for that.
We were just like delirious and dehydrated and like I don't know what'll get them.
We were very poor. By the end of it, I got really sick like right before that. And maybe it was after. All I could afford to eat was dry ramen for 3 days straight. And I like fucked up my stomach. So yeah, we were all in pretty bad shape.
You also had a jaw breaker the size of a softball.
Yeah.
It was, I think at that point it was I was driving. Dylan and I did all the driving, and then for some, I don't know, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't drink any water for some, and it's hot. And like I was driving, and Dylan was just in like the front seat, just and I was like, I just want to sit here and not hear anything and breathe in the exhaust. And so we stopped at like this truck stop, and I found this gumball that was like this big. And I was like, Dylan, I bet you can't keep this in your mouth. He's like, oh yeah. And it was quiet for like a solid like 7 hours.
Yeah,
It was like a 10-hour drive, and it was quiet for like 7 hours.
I think I have
That's what
jaw
got.
issues.
Yes, that's what we got. Yeah, you just ate about 2 pounds of compressed sugar.
Joey, you should tell them about Rochester, the bomb or the med bomb.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's same tour, and we were going. I don't know what the grocery store was out there, like Tops or something like that. And
No, that's salad.
No, we started at Walmart.
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like there's a Walmart, and then there's like a Main Street, and then there was like a regular grocery store, like their version of Hy-Vee. And we parked in the grocery store first. I think
We
you
started.
you tell it.
Yeah,
I'll tell my own.
We started at the Walmart because Jordan and I drove through the nights because it was cool. So we could actually be in the van. So we like pulled into this Walmart like 2 a.m., slept. We would just get up and go into the Walmart to like buy stuff and go to the bathroom and then come back. So we spent like the first morning doing that. And then we moved over to the grocery store to actually get groceries. And we're all inside this grocery store. And Joey and I walk out of the grocery store, and there's 3 cop cars with their lights on blocking our van into the parking spot.
The New York State Troopers.
Yeah, and then cops with lights looking in our van and stuff. And Joey just goes, nope, and turns around. And I was like, man, this is only gonna get worse. Like, so I walk out and they're like, is this your van? I was like, yeah, we're just a van from Iowa. And he's like, you're making meth in this van, you're making bombs, open it up right now. And like they had like hands on guns, and I was like, I have the key to open up the front doors. That's it. I don't have the key to the back. Somebody else will have to come out. And they were like, open the door slowly and on our count. And like they were like, what are we gonna find? And I was like, I don't know, like fast food wrappers and like some snacks. And I opened the front 2 doors, and like 3 of the cops just like sighed, like they were disappointed that nothing cool wasn't there. And left. And then Jordan came out. He had the keys to the back.
He had blue hair at the time.
And I had a red mohawk. I was just the best looking people that were.
I was in the grocery store like having a panic attack and just straight grocery shopping for like 45 minutes.
Granted, there was the back door locks were busted, and so I screwed in a couple pieces of like 1/4-inch steel and put a padlock on the back of it. It didn't look the greatest.
And so Jordan comes out, and the guy's like, open up the back, and we have this wall of like totes and amps and shit. And the guy wanted us to open up every single tote in the back. And the venue, we were all underage, but the venue we had just played the night before paid us in beer, and we really didn't want it, but we were like, fuck it, we'll have beer. And
We're also all underage.
and yeah, we were all underage. And so Jordan, like, as soon as he was like, I want you to unpack all these totes so I can see what's in it, Jordan goes, you can unpack them, and then you can put it back the way it is. And if you do it wrong, I'll make you do it again. And the cop shut the fuck up, turned around, and left. And so then the last cop there was like, I was like, what is this all for? Like, we're just in a van from Iowa. And he's like, oh, people, they park their vans in the Walmart parking lot. They go in and buy stuff to make meth, make it in their vans. And she's like 3 times a month a van explodes because the meth lab explodes. And she's like, most of the vans have Iowa plates, so we kind of just assumed you guys run meth on wheels. I was like, oh no, we're kind of too poor for that even. It's like, yeah, that was
too poor for meth.
Yeah, a lot of police looking at us sideways the whole tour.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And also, I have heard I've heard from different cities. They're probably all just talking bullshit. They're always like, we're the meth capital of Iowa, like yada yada. But that's fucking crazy. So also baller move to be like, no, you guys unpack that shit yourselves and repack it. Like,
There again, the delirium. Like that would not happen if I had like food in my stomach and sleep. But it worked. So but we were all nervous that they were gonna find the beer. And I was like, man, we are fucked. And they find this beer. They'd probably just take it from us or pump it out or just like it was like 7 more Wi-Fi. But
Yeah.
what about you, Carter? What's been your favorite part?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, can I tell 2 short ones?
yeah, of course.
So I think we were on our way from Fargo to Waterloo,
Yeah.
and I was driving, which Jordan drives the most, but on this particular day I was driving, and Joey was in the front seat, and I'm driving along, and I look over at Joey, and he's just holding his hand up like this with blood dripping with an insane amount.
It's like a puddle of blood.
Like it was Like it wasn't just a little cut. It was his arm was red. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, are you okay? He's like, I don't even know where I cut myself. I don't know how this happened. He couldn't figure out where he cut his hand. And it was just pouring out blood. So we had to stop at a come and go. And
I give you my wallet.
You give me your wallet. You're like, I can't go in there. Go give me band-aids. Go give me something. And so I had to go get him band-aids and towel or napkins and everything to cover up the wound.
The shirt that I wore the night before, I had it wrapped around my finger too, and it was like bleeding through the shirt and still dripping onto the van floor.
And then we get to the hotel before the show, and we're hanging out there, and Joey. We bought super glue. Yeah, we're gonna super glue it together, and Joey's sitting there in pain because he got super glue.
It was like
It was a miscommunication because it was me. Because I usually work like I have like labor jobs and stuff. So you get cut. You put super glue on it, keep it hold there. But I think what happened is that Joey thought I meant put super glue in.
Not what happened. Jordan was watching me do it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
But I
super glue in.
it hurt so fucking bad. I was just like, I didn't get like 5 or 6 hours at the hotel before the show. And I was just like on the bed in a fetal position, putting all the weight on my hands. I don't think I could drum the show. I think I need stitches.
You were so quiet that day.
It hurt so bad, and it definitely needed stitches. And like still to this day, there's a scar and like a little black stuff comes out, and just pull it out. I don't know what happened.
And we can still never find where.
Yeah.
I was trying to lean my seat.
cut his
The
hand.
last thing I can remember doing is I was trying to lean the seat back in the van. I think I don't know what the hell happened. I still don't know. But it was
He just got soft hands.
I guess so. But I played the show with super glue and band-aids and like athletic tape, and there was it sucked because we played outside and it was like 100 degrees that day. So it was just pure pain. And it was terrible.
A little addition to that story though, when we were driving and stopped at Come and Go, this might have been like the universe or something like cut Joey's hand because we were driving and it was a very, very fresh crash on the side of the road.
Like no cops yet.
No cops yet. So we're like, man, did we just avoid that because Joey cut his hand over in the car?
I think we did.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Oh, wow.
That one sucked.
Oh, I have another real quick one. When we were sitting out in the van outside of Fargo, the venue there, I saw some guy come out of a pizza shop carrying a pizza like this, like
a
plates.
People are built different in Fargo.
Yeah.
The venue that we play in Fargo, it's called the Aquarium. Awesome venue. So if you ever want to check it out. But the bar underneath of it is a college bar. It's a college town, but this is like the bar underneath of it is like the bar that people go to get fucked up.
Yeah, they all cheap drinks.
Yeah, and they also serve pizza. So like this dude was lit up carrying a pizza box like a suitcase.
That pizza man.
Oh my god.
I have a picture of that.
We have a picture of a video of it somewhere. That's a good one.
Usually everywhere we go, there's gonna be a couple stories that come out.
Yeah.
I think at the hotel in Fargo, I accidentally shut the elevator doors on a vessel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some old man in like a veteran's hat and a walker walking into the elevator kind of far away and just pushing the clothes. That was a little tipsy when that happened too. But I that's for my favorite tour story, I think it would probably be when we were going from Nashville to Kansas City, and we were driving overnight, and Jordan was driving, I was co-pilot, and it's like on a 5 or 6 in the morning, the sun's just coming up, and we see sparks behind the van and more sparks, and then I look at Jordan, we just have no expression. He just turns the radio up. Yeah. And so we keep going, and eventually it's getting bad, and so we pull over, and we're just on the shoulder of like a really busy interstate. And so I'm under the van with Jordan for no reason at all, because I'm not handy at all. And Jordan's under there. And our muffler fell off and was dragging. And I think you put it back together with like a wire hanger.
Yeah, I was trying to like wire it back together, like wire it to the bottom of the van.
And so it's sturdy, it's back up there, and we get back in, and we're like, oh man, that could have been bad. Like the sparks could have gone into the gas tank. And in the meantime, the guys are in the back asleep. And then we look down. There's like we are covered in ticks.
Yeah.
Like no exaggeration, there's probably like 30 ticks just like on my chest.
Yeah.
And they're all over Jordan. And I think I like started taking most of my clothes off in the van, and I just had the clothes like stuffed in the corner. And then we get to our friend from Kansas City, and I don't even say hi to him. I'm just like I just take my clothes off in his front yard, almost butt naked, and I think run into his house and like hop in the shower. And I was getting them off of me. I weirdly didn't have. I don't think I had any bites, but they were for real ticks. I think before it was just. Did you get bit from any?
I don't remember getting bit,
but it was disgusting. It was terrifying, but I don't know. That's I'd say that probably has to be my favorite one.
that was a good one.
And I got foot fungus in Buffalo, New York.
It's also the name of our new song.
But yeah, that was a good one. I'm trying to think of one I haven't told in a while. Oh, the cornbread lady.
That or Charlie in the Dominatrix.
Oh, you think you get mad if I tell that?
No, you can tell both. It's fine.
Okay. I'll tell the first. The first one, we were in Illinois at a seedy hotel. It was one of those, this is $30 a night to stay here type things. And or the motel. What's the one where the doors are outside? That's a motel.
Is that what they yell at too? Same hotel?
No, that was
okay,
a different one. We got yelled at a different one. So it was pretty back then, it was really rare that we got a hotel. And so we get this hotel and it's two guys to a bed, and I just have like a hard time sleeping, period. And so I finally I'm about to go to sleep, and like that, when you're like just dozing off and you're just about to hit, being asleep, and right as that happened, I just hear, oh, inside the room. Something just went, oh, inside the room in this hotel that was probably built in 1840. And I like, dude, I watch Ghost Adventure. I'm all about it. I love it. And I was just like, screw this. I'm going to go sleep in the van. And so I go out and I sit in the front seat of the van, and I'm like have my eyes closed. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way. And I hear they have the cleaning staff out there, and it's two people on the cleaning staff, and this lady, you just hear this man and this woman talking, and this woman's telling this guy, she's like, where were you last weekend? Where were you? And he's like, oh, I wish I could have. It's some kind of picnic or whatever they were supposed to go to. And the guy looked like, if you ever watched Trailer Park Boys, he looked like Philadelphia Collins from Trailer Park Boys. And so she was like, oh no, you missed out on this cornbread. And he's like, yeah, my sister brought this cornbread. And he's like, oh, I wish. But this lady started getting mad. She's like, no, you should have had this fucking cornbread. And she's just yelling the word cornbread at this guy. And this guy is like starting to be like, I'm so sorry I didn't make it. I only had money for cigarettes or gas, and I was out of town. You don't understand the fucking cornbread. It was just like, at that point, I was like, fuck it. And I like walked to IHOP across the street and just sat in IHOP until the sun came up and run again. But
what was the yelling in the room?
Oh, and the yelling in the room, Joey we all get up the next day, and Joey's like, yeah, I had this really weird dream that I was falling. And I was like, did you yell when you fell? He's like, yeah. And I was like, God damn it. Wasn't anything paranormal.
Watch out, check that.
But yeah, lots of fun trying to sleep. Most of my stories are about me trying to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, there was a good one. So yeah, the first tour Jordan and I would drive through the night, and most of the time we'd make it to wherever we needed to be, but like sometimes we just had to like stop because we were both too tired. And one time we stopped in some random city, and we're just looking for anything that had lights on to park in their parking lot. But we were like young, it was like our first big tour, especially, so we didn't know like, oh, you should go let the employees know you're sleeping in their parking lot. So I'm sleeping up front in the van. It was really hard to sleep. I'm like, I had my glasses off and it was raining, but if you had the windows all the way up, it would get so hot from our breath. Like it would be terrible. So I had the window down, but it was raining on me. And all of a sudden I get woken up and I'm like fucking laying like my legs up on the dash and shit. And I get woken up by this like tapping. And I wake up and it's a cop like tapping on the window. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm like trying to find my glasses. And I get my glasses and he's like, take it easy, buddy. You're all right. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. And I go to try to keep somewhere safe. I go to I get the crank window and the crank fucking pops off. And I'm like trying to crank it. And he's like, you guys all right in here, buddy? And I was like, we're just a band from Iowa and we're all 19. We were too tired to drive, so we just parked here. And he's like, hey, you're all right, buddy. He was like, the McDonald's employees saw you parking and you all just kind of like looked like they thought you all killed yourself. Yeah. He was like, they just wanted me to come and just make sure you guys were all right. I was like, oh yeah, we didn't kill ourselves. We're just sleeping, I swear. And he's like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go tell them that you're gonna sleep here for the night because you did the responsible thing of being done driving. And he's like, if you're still here in the morning, just go tell the next shift that you're gonna sleep in the park. Like, all right, thank you so much. Sleep after that.
Oh man, should I tell the Charlie one? Or no, go ahead, Carter.
Should I tell
Carly.
should I tell the guy who bought merch from us in St. Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing that too. We could have got his name so we can tell people that he just gave us $100.
Hey, don't throw the ending. Okay, so me and Jordan were standing at the merch table after our show in St. Joe's, and we're like starting to pack up, like getting ready to leave. And this like drunk as fuck guy comes up and he's like, hey, you guys smoke weed? And we're like, no, we're good. We don't smoke weed. And he's like, all right, and starts rolling a joint on the merch table, like on our t-shirt. And he's like, yeah, I'm in the DEA. I'm one of the best. And he's like, I make a lot of money. I make $400 a week.
He brings home $1,500 a week before taxes.
Oh, $1,500 a week.
He's very specific.
Well, his favorite perk of the job was shooting people.
And then he's like, yeah, where you guys headed after this? I can't drive, got too many OWIs. He's the enemy. And then he bought $100 worth of merch from us.
And he put it in a plastic bag and put it on the floor and we took it back. He was saying a lot of colorful comments.
Yeah, that's also true.
I wear like a lot of dangly earrings and paint my nails sometimes. And I got, when they were talking to that guy, I just get a text that says, hey, you should go wait in the stand for a while. You should show the Charlie one real quick.
Okay, real quick, I'll tell
The last one was
real quick. I'll tell the Charlie. So our old bass player, our bass player before Dylan,
Charlie.
We were in
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah, and So we played like a house show, and shout out to Pat Levy. We played this house show, and then the dudes were like, "Yeah, you can stay here." It was like a barbecue type thing. There's like 2 or 3 other bands. Really fun time. And then we just partied and drank all night. And afterwards. And so like it was like one of those big older houses and like wraparound porch with like full-on couches on the porch or whatever. So it was one of those parties where basically wherever you drop is where you're sleeping and you're fine. So our bass player Charlie was macking on this one girl all night, and I don't know how would you describe her.
She had like a
She was a
devil necklace on.
Yeah,
and
she was like the final boss of Big Titty Gospel.
Yeah.
And so we were all proud of him, and so we just kind of let him do his thing, and
We couldn't find him.
we couldn't find him the next morning, and we're like, oh well, Chuck must have went with, what's her name, and so and then we go up on the porch, and he's sleeping on the couch. And he has his shirt off, and his shirt's off, and he's in his socks, and he's in his underwear, and he just has scratches. Oh, it looked like somebody beat the piss out of him.
His shirt was like tore up his money on the ground.
And I was like, I jumped up, and I was like, Charlie, where the fuck are they? Like, we were ready to go. And like we were just ready to beat somebody's ass. He's like, no, dude, that one girl did this too. And I was like, and we were all like, oh, nice.
And then and we didn't have air conditioning, and we had a short bus at the time. We had air conditioning in it, so short bus, extra bouncy, so we could go over these bumps, and you just hear him grunt. Like all his sweat would go into his cuts.
He was like standing up in the school bus. He couldn't sit on the couch because it would make his back sting. That was a good one. Fun time. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, these are some great
yeah.
stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can go on forever.
I mean, I feel like we have to at some point do a part 2, because I'm sure there's plenty more in the wheelhouse that I mean, these were great, but I'm sure I can't even imagine what the rest of those are going to be. I think I should tell one that I don't think I've told on the podcast before, but kind of bouncing off of the one that you just told. We were passing through, I think, like Phoenix or somewhere in like not the Pacific Northwest, in the Southwest. And I want to say Phoenix, but I can't remember exactly. But we were for sure staying at someone's house that it was like a friend of a friend, like someone else knew them that wasn't in our van, and they were super nice people, let us stay at their house. But our drummer at the time was like, oh, I know someone that lives in Phoenix. Her parents are out of town, so I wanted to like go over to her place. And we're like, okay, cool, like we're just staying here for tonight, like we're gonna take off, like be back by like 8 or 9 so we can fucking like keep going. And he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, like I'll be back before then, like I'll probably just go for a little while and come back. We're like, okay, cool. Like we got to these people's house at like 6. He took off, like we went and got food, we're hanging out, having a decent time. And then like it hits like 10 o'clock and we're like, hey dude, like we're all going to bed, like are you on your way back so one of us can stay up and like let you in? Silence. We're like, all right, fucking cool, maybe he's doing his thing, we'll deal with it later. We wake up in the morning, and we're all like, hey, has anyone seen so and so? Like nothing. Like we try texting him, still not hearing anything. We're like, fuck. One, not only is he the drummer that's filling in for tour, so like if we don't have him, we're kind of fucked. But also we're like, we were trusted to bring this kid out with us. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to like text his dad and be like, hey, he's in Phoenix, send him like a money for like a ticket or something. And so we pack up all our shit that morning and we're like, okay, like we're on our way, like we're all showered, we're like, thank you so much to the people that hosted us. We go open the back door to their house and we see like the back of our van like open, and we're like, oh fuck, like someone broke in while we're asleep. As we walk closer, he's like hanging out of the back of the van. Somehow someone forgot to lock the back door, So he's just like laying in the back of the van with his legs out. And it's again Phoenix or Southwest in early July, late June, so it's at least like 100 degrees at some point. Like I remember just being like brutal, and I'm was sitting there asking the people that like housed us, like, how do you live here? Like, how does this work? Like, this is terrible. But yeah, so he got back at like 11, and we were all asleep, so no one could let him in, and he just slept. He was able to get in the van and basically sleep there, and almost just sweat out whatever happened, but almost left someone in Phoenix for that.
Wow. I'll tell you who I would have left in Phoenix. Whoever forgot to lock the van.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's
That's good.
But no, but like I said, this has been a great time hanging out with you guys. But I mean, like I said, this latest single has been sick, and I'm stoked to see what the rest of this EP is going to be like. And I hope everyone else enjoys it as much as I'm going to. Everyone that's listening, make sure you hit up Minion Fest. If you're in the Des Moines area or Iowa area, just drive out there. Iowa, even though, we're always like 2.5 hours away, everyone's still a local, because that's what you got to drive in Iowa to get to a show sometimes. But if anyone's looking for merch, music, or display case in general, where can they find it?
merch would be on our Bandcamp page, and it's everything else.
Socials, we're on everything social media wise. Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We don't post as much right now, but we have a lot of stuff up on TikTok still. But
You can
pretty much anywhere.
You can hear our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music,
Pandora,
Pandora.
most important one.
Literally anywhere you can stream music, you
Yeah.
can stream us.
All that bullshit.
Deezer.
Deezer.
Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, I can add that in now. Or you watched the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight. Make sure you check the description down below, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the social medias. Be ready for the new EP, be ready for future music, be ready for out-of-state dates or in-state dates, depending on where you're at. And, just stay up to date with everything that Display Case has coming forward. Like I've said, this was a fun episode. This was a fun chat. Stoked that we were able to kind of, complete the circle and do this after, working together all that time ago. But I mean, you guys are killing it. And it's nice to see also people that were in the scene at the same time that like I was in the scene, still like kicking and still moving forward and doing their thing. Because I feel like a lot of bands from our time, like that 2013 to 2015, have kind of died out, unfortunately. But it's nice to see a band still surviving and doing their thing.
Thank you.
We have arthritis, but we're still kicking.
I mean, if you got to use the walker, use the walker. Do what you got to do. I mean, but other than that, one last big thank you to the four of you guys in Display Case, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Thank you.